All right, I want you to picture this just for a second. The year is 1946.
Okay.
You're not in some grand arena, not a stadium. You're going down these stairs into a smoky, low-ceiling cellar, Manhattan's Lower East Side.
You can just feel that air. It's thick, right?
Yeah.
Not just with cigar smoke, but with this real tension, high-stakes gambling.
Absolutely. And under this one flickering bare light bulb, the whole room is just electric. And then you see him.
And he does not look like an athlete.
Mm-mm.
Not at all. He looks like he walked right off a Hollywood movie set.
A fedora tilted just so, that angle that just screams confidence, custom-tailored silk shirt.
And the smirk. The smirk that tells everyone in that room two things. First, he knows you're betting against him. And second, he already knows how your night is going to end.
This is Marty Reisman. And his nicknames. Well, they tell you everything you need to know. Marty Supreme.
The Mozart of table tennis.
And maybe the most on-the-nose one, the king of the hustlers. So our mission in this deep dive is to really explore the story of this guy who didn't just play a game, he turned it into a high-stakes art form. And crucially, refused to let technology change the soul of what he did.
And that refusal, that's what makes this story so incredibly relevant today. It doesn't matter if you care about table tennis or not.
Right.
This is a story about that eternal conflict, the one we're all living in right now. It's pure, difficult human skill versus the siren song of technological optimization.
A case study in choosing the hard way.
Exactly. Choosing principle over the easy, data-driven win.
So let's start at the beginning. Where does a guy like this even come from?
Well, he was born in 1930, so right into the Great Depression.
Yep.
And for him, he wasn't a stickball kid out on the streets.
No.
His sanctuary, his refuge from all the noise and the poverty of New York was indoors, specifically a place called Lawrence's Broadway Table Tennis Club.
You have to think about that context. A hungry kid.
Yeah.
That club isn't just a hobby.
No, it's an escape route. It's a possibility. And he was scrawny, described as thin as a rail. But he was this relentless observer. By the time he's 12, just 12 years old, he isn't just hitting the ball back and forth.
He's studying it.
He's conducting practical research into the physics of spin.
He understood, almost instinctively, that this little celluloid ball wasn't a toy, it was a weapon. It was something you could manipulate with just surgical precision.
The sources say he had lightning in his wrists.
Wow.
Because his forehand, his backhand, they weren't just strokes. They were calculated maneuvers. He didn't have a bouncy paddle doing the work for him. It was all angles, all timing, all in that wrist snap.
So he figured out how to make this tiny ball dance, dip, swerve, just vanish.
All without any advanced equipment. He was weaponizing classical mechanics.
And that genius, that very unique skill, it translated pretty quickly into a career, right? As a money player.
Oh, immediately.
Yep.
He wasn't playing for trophies in those early days. He was playing for rent, for cash. This is where the hustle really begins.
It was part of the art.
It was everything. He'd walk into a club and intentionally look like an easy mark. Baggy clothes, a little disheveled.
He's baiting them.
He is baiting the local sharks, the best players in the city, into thinking they can take this skinny kid for their whole week's wages.
It's such a fascinating duality. The showmanship only works because the mastery is so deep. A hustler by necessity.
But a genius by nature.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He mastered the craft long before he mastered the image.
And that craft took him to the absolute top. By the late 40s, early 50s, Marty Reisman was American table tennis.
He was the face. He won the U.S. men's singles championship 3 times. He was dominating.
But to really get a grasp on his era and why he was so defiant later on, we need to do a little dive into his signature weapon.
The hard bat.
A hard bat.
Yes. The hard bat defines everything about this era. This was before polymers and chemistry changed the game. His paddle was, it was basically just wood with a very thin layer of pimpled rubber on it.
Pimpled rubber, so there's little bumps on the surface.
Right. And, crucially, almost no sponge underneath it.
Okay, so what does that lack of sponge actually mean for a player? How is it fundamentally different?
It means effort. Pure, unadulterated physical effort. And precision. The hard bat demanded brute force just to get any power. And surgical accuracy to control where the ball went.
So when he hit a smash...
It wasn't a pock sound. The sources, all of them, describe it as a loud, startling gunshot that would just echo through the whole gym.
That sound alone must have been half the battle.
It was pure intimidation. And this simple piece of wood and rubber made him a global rock star.
And I mean, truly global.
Oh, yeah. We have these records from the U.S. team's trip to Bombay, India, in 1952. Just imagine it. Thousands of people screaming, lining the streets just to get a glimpse of the team.
And there's Marty, in his signature whites.
Always immaculate. Taking on these international legends and just defeating them with this flair. Observers compared him to a matador.
22 major titles, all with that simple piece of wood. He was, for a moment, maybe the greatest player alive.
For a fleeting moment, yes. But you mentioned a downfall. And his great adversary wasn't another player.
No.
It was technology. And it happened right at his peak. 1952 World Championships. This is where the entire story just pivots.
The optimization update arrives.
It really does. A Japanese player, Hiroji Sato, he shows up with something nobody had ever seen. A paddle covered in this thick layer of green foam sponge.
So the contrast would have been immediate.
Oh, profound.
Yeah.
Marty's hard bat required maximum effort for, relatively minimal spin and speed.
Right.
Sato's sponge rubber was silent. It was incredibly bouncy, and it let a player generate massive, game-changing amounts of spin with very little effort. It just fundamentally changed the physics.
So it's like Marty had perfected this beautiful, complicated, loud rifle.
And suddenly everyone else gets a silent auto-aiming pistol. The rules of the game changed overnight.
And Marty Supreme did not like it.
He hated it. He despised it. He famously called it the death of the sport. He thought it corrupted the whole game.
So, okay, this is the key question. If the sponge gave you this huge competitive edge, wasn't his refusal just stubbornness? Was he prioritizing performance art over winning?
And that's the core tension, isn't it? In the short term, yes. It cost him championships. He absolutely refused to switch. He said it took the human out of the game. It turned it into a battle of equipment.
So he chose to become the last of the hard batters.
He did. He consciously chose to be this rebel fighting against the tide. He's the samurai holding a beautiful wooden sword in the age of gunpowder.
That choice might have cost him titles, but it guaranteed him his legend.
Exactly. He insisted the old, honest, difficult way was the only true way. So he shifted his focus. His professional career cooled down, but his persona, his showmanship, that just got bigger.
He pivots from champion to global performer, Las Vegas, London, and Hill. He becomes pure spectacle.
And the stories from this period are they define his skill. I mean, think about this. Marty could serve a ball from 20 feet away and knock a lit cigarette right out of a man's mouth.
That's not just power. That's an insane level of calculation.
Zero margin for error. He could also reliably smash a ping pong ball and break a light bulb with it.
Wait, a light bulb with a ping pong ball. The accuracy required to hit the filament or the thinnest part of the glass.
That's the hard bat training. You can't do that with a floppy sponge paddle. And if he really wanted to humiliate a top player who's using sponge,
He wouldn't even use his own bat.
he'd beat them with a pan lid or a folded-up newspaper, a cigar box. His point was crystal clear. It's not the tool, it's the hand that wields it.
And his whole life became this kind of high-wire act. It wasn't just trick shots. It was a lifestyle of excess.
His social circle was chaotic glamour. He's living in penthouses full of art. He's friends with mobsters, movie stars, jazz legends.
And then there's the famous gambling story. He wins $250,000 in one night.
A truly astronomical sum for the 1950s.
And what does he do with it?
Spends it all in one night. It tells you he wasn't driven by security. He was driven by the thrill, by the performance. The money just kept the show going.
But here's the detail that, for me, just perfectly captures him. Despite the penthouses and the fame, he would still go down to the public parks.
Yeah.
Why? To hustle some kid for $5.
Because it was never about the money. Not really. It was about needing to feel that raw, untainted rush of mastery, proving his skill could still win without the crutches he hated so much.
That need for validation through pure craft never left him.
Never. Which leads us to his final spectacular act.
Yeah.
His definitive, I told you so to the entire world.
It's an unbelievable final chapter.
It really is. It's 1997. The hard bat is an ancient relic at this point. Marty Reisman is 67 years old. He returns to competition.
And he wins.
And he wins
Right.
the United States National Hard Bat Championship.
At 67, that's his crowning achievement. It's the proof of the principle he fought for his whole life.
It's living proof. The hand of the master is always better than the tool of the amateur.
And he kept that swagger, that style, the fedora right to the end. He passed away in 2012 at the age of 82.
A true original.
So, why does the story of Marty Supreme matter right now? To you, listening to this, navigating a world that's run by AI and algorithms and efficiency.
Because Marty Reisman represents style. He represents mastering the fundamentals. In a world obsessed with shortcuts and maximizing output, we risk losing the artistry of the difficult process.
The optimization trap.
It is. It eradicates the need for deep, practiced human skill. When we lean on advanced software, we're basically grabbing the sponge paddle.
Marty was the man who chose to lose while being right rather than win while being boring.
His legacy is his commitment, not his later championships. And it forces us to ask a really critical question about our own work. Where are you relying on the sponge? The easy tech that gives you a quick result with minimal effort.
And where are you embracing the hard bat? The difficult, deep skill that takes years of practice and real commitment.
Remember the spirit of Marty Supreme. Life, just like table tennis, is about the specific, unexpected spin you put on the ball. Don't let the obsession with efficiency kill your personal style.
Put a little spin on your work. Wear your hat at an angle.
Marty proved that personal commitment and a distinctive style can outweigh technological advantage, at least in the long run of history. The difference between the sponge and the hard bat is whether you're just doing a task or whether you're building a legend. Never ever let them take the hard out of your game.